Hey there, Mark Scala, author of The Leverage Point, How Overwhelmed Founders Stop Doing Everything So They Can Start Achieving Anything. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about founder burnout. Now, most founders believe that burnout is a personal weakness. And they'll say things like, just not disciplined enough, or if I could just get more organized, I would finally catch up. And then they'll go and download another productivity app, or they're going to buy another planner, convinced that the solution and success is just one more hack away. Here's the truth. Burnout usually has nothing to do with you as a person. It's not about your discipline. It's not about your intelligence. Burnout is what happens when your business model is built on your personal energy instead of real systems. Think of it like this. You're the battery, and the business is the machine. Every sale, every hire, every decision drains your charge. It's the 6 a.m. client email about a minor issue. It's the missed lunch so that you could approve a marketing graphic. Or it's the late night call from a vendor. Each one of them drains you a little bit more until you're running on empty. And unless you stop and recharge, the whole system shuts down. And here's the kicker. The bigger your business gets, the more power it demands from you. So, I've worked with founders in retail, in software, in service industries. It doesn't matter the type of business. The pattern is always the same. Revenue grows, but the founder still has their fingerprints on everything. They're the final safety net for every single problem. Picture this. A client email comes in at 11 p.m. Who answers it? The founder. A new hire is confused about their role. Who explains it? The founder. A big customer wants to renegotiate terms. Who jumps on the call? The founder. It's not just the work, it's the emotional weight that comes with it. They're not just jumping, answering the email, they're feeling the pressure of the client's frustration. And they're not just explaining a role, they're feeling the anxiety that the new hire might not work out. And here's the irony. The more successful they become, the worse it gets. Every new client, every new hire, every new dollar just means more weight on their shoulders. I remember one retail founder I worked with who had just opened up their third location. They should have been celebrating, but instead they were secretly dreading it because it meant they were now responsible for managing a third team, a third rent payment, and a third set of problems. So instead of feeling proud of the growth, they felt like the walls were closing in. They tell themselves, maybe this is just the price of success. Maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. But that's a lie. That's not entrepreneurship. That's entrapment. And I know because I've lived it. I've spent the last 15 years leading and scaling businesses, some that nearly broke me, and others that thrived once I fixed the structure. I remember one time I was sitting in my car in a parking lot, staring at my phone. I just couldn't bring myself to answer one more client email. And that was the moment I realized that something had to change, not in me, but in the way that the business was built. And now, as a fractional COO and CMO, I work with founders every single day who are right where you are. They're overwhelmed, they're exhausted, and they're still trying to push forward. So when I tell you burnout isn't personal, it's structural, I've seen it in the trenches, and I've seen the other side of fixing it. This is the turning point. Burnout isn't personal, it's structural. Your business only works when you overwork, and that's not a business. That's more like a hostage situation. Think of it like building a house. If every time you leave the room, the roof caves in, you don't have a roof problem, you have a design problem. And in business, a faulty design looks like this. No documented process for how a project moves from start to finish. Every client request is a brand new challenge instead of following a standard operating procedure. And every new employee is trained by shadowing you, so they never actually learn to think for themselves. Founders try to fix this by hiring more people, but because there's no systems, everything still flows back to them. It's like trying to fix a leaky pipe by adding more buckets. You're just adding more work, more people to manage, more fires to put out without ever fixing the source of the problem. And eventually, all the buckets overflow and you're still standing in a flooded room. That's why burnout is structural. The design itself is faulty. And until you fix the design, you'll always be the bottleneck. So how do you know if your business is built on structure or on your back? Here's a simple 2-step test I give every founder. Step 1, imagine removing yourself from the business for just 1 week. What happens? Do sales still close? Do clients still get taken care of? Do employees still make decisions? Or does everything freeze until you come back? Step 2, imagine being gone for 1 full month. Would the business survive without you, or would it collapse entirely? Let me ask you a question. Did you feel a little bit of panic just imagining that? The panic isn't proof that you're irreplaceable. It's proof that you've built a business with a single point of failure, you. And that's the ultimate wake-up call. Your growth isn't sustainable. But here's one thing you can do today. Tell you what, write down every single task you touched in the last 48 hours. Seriously. It's an exercise I do with people that pay. Circle all the ones that could have been handled by someone else if the right system existed, or the right process existed, or the right instructions existed. For every task you circled, ask yourself, could this be handled by a simple checklist, a workflow, a video explanation? You'll find that most of what's draining you could be handled by a system, not a person. And that's where your structure is breaking. And that's where your freedom is hiding. And that right there is exactly why I wrote The Leverage Point. Because founders don't need another motivational speech telling them to grind harder. They don't need another productivity hack. They don't need another piece of software. They need a new design. The book isn't about spotting the problem. It's about giving you practical tools to build the systems. It shows you how to document a process, how to train a team to own a task, and how to build a business that can run with or without you at the helm so that you can finally step away without everything falling apart. When the book launched, it actually hit #1 in pre-sales. And that told me the message is bigger than me. Founders everywhere are desperate for a way off the treadmill. The very first tool in the book is called the CEO bottleneck test, and it puts the problem on paper so it's clear and undeniable. You'll see how much of your business still depends on you and where the leaks are. And once you can see it, you can start changing it. That's the leverage point. That's how you step off the treadmill. So if you're feeling burned out, here's what I want you to take away from this. It's not you, it's the structure. You're not weak, you're not failing, you just built a machine that runs on your back. But the good news is, structures can be redesigned. When you shift the weight from founder energy to systems energy, you don't just scale, you get your life back. The book is about your first step towards building something that serves you instead of the other way around. It's a blueprint to a business that doesn't just grow, but gives you your time, your energy, your life, your freedom back to you. And if you're tired of carrying the weight of your business on your own and you're ready to start building something that carries you, go grab a copy of The Leverage Point. It's on Amazon right now for less than $10 for paperback. If you want the Kindle version, it's less than $1. On a pre-launch sale, it's not going to stay like that forever. And if you're more of an audiobook person, it's live on Audible too, so you don't really have any excuses. Go take your life back, build a business that can truly scale, and stop letting burnout run your business.